So just jumping straight into the eyeshadow tutorial, I'm going to start off with this shade here, which is called Flesh, and I'm just going to put that in my crease and blend it out towards my brow bone. This is obviously a colour that is very similar to my skin tone, so it's not going to make a huge difference, but it will just help with my blending later on. And then underneath my brow bone, I'm just going to take this light colour here, which is called June. This is kind of like a lighter version of the previous shade. So I'm just going to put this underneath my brows just to highlight my brow bone and blend that into the first shade. Again, this colour is very similar to my skin, so it's not going to make a huge impact. Now I don't really know what type of look I want to go for, but obviously these shades are very dark, so whatever I do is probably going to end up being dramatic. I am really loving this shade here, so I'm going to put this shade into my crease, and that shade is called Maple. Now before I get too crazy and blend everything out, I'm going to use some tape and put that on the corners of my eyes, just because we're working with really dark eyeshadows and it just helps to create a really flawless look. Once you've got your tape on, or if you use shadow shields or anything like that, then you can go crazy with blending. Obviously if you're not comfortable putting tape around your eyes, or you feel like you don't need to, it's totally up to you. I just feel like when I work with dark shadows, it's a lot easier to have that extra security, so I don't blend too far out, and it just makes a really nice crisp line at the end of the look. I'm really liking this shade here, which is kind of like a teal blue kind of shade. This is called Orbit. I might put that on the center of my lid. Just to complement that colour, I'm going to use this shade next to it. It's called Ink, and it's just a very dark blue. I feel like putting a darker shade next to this really beautiful shade will just bring out the colour. So I'm just going to put that on the outer V of my eye. And slightly blend that into that shade. And then I'm going to bring that on top of that middle shade. Just really slightly, because we need to blend it through, and then once you start blending it kind of drags the product up a bit. So I'm going to leave it at that and then blend these two colours through. Just really take your time with this, because the colours are so dark and you will lose some pigmentation once you start blending. It's always best to just add a little bit and blend it through, then build up to the colour that you want. I really like the name Orbit of that shadow. So I think I might base my look around that and just kind of create a spacey kind of look. And I think this is just the perfect palette to do that. This palette has so many beautiful colours. I don't know if you guys can see, but that dark blue mixed in with this shade here that we put in our crease has actually created a purple kind of look, which goes really well with our galaxy theme. Now I'm just going to go through and add more of the colours that we've blended out, just to make it a bit more opaque. I'm going to start off with the Orbit shade first and just build that colour back into there. Trying to stay away from where we blended it through, because if you build up the colour there, then you're just going to have to blend it through again. So I'm just going to put the colour where I really want it to be, and then building that dark blue shade on the outer corners again. And then for the inner corners of my eyes, I'm going to take that white shade there. So I was going to add that purple shade between the white and the green colour, but I feel like it might be a bit too much. So I'm actually going to add this grey colour in between and blend it through. That's actually a really nice transition shade between the white and the green. That actually worked better than I thought it would. Now to do my eyeliner, I'm actually going to leave the tape where it is just as a guide, and I'm using my BOE liquid eyeliner. So once I pull my tape off, I just use my foundation brush just to clean up the lines. And then I use a concealer brush just to fix this part here. I'm also going to take this transition shade and put that on my bottom lash line. So just by smoking this out a bit more, it balances our eyes. And then just continuing on with our galaxy theme, I'm going to be using this Chi Chi glitter eyeliner just on the inner corners of my eyes. You could also add this glitter eyeliner on top of the black eyeliner and just make a really like sparkly, really spacing galaxy type look, but I don't want to overpower my eyeshadow, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So now I'm just going to put mascara and lashes on. Moving on to my face, I'm just going to use the yellow shade from the AC On Tour kit and set underneath my eyes. Because our eyes are so dark, the brighter that you can get underneath your eyes, the better. It just enhances the look so much more. And then I'm just going to take the bronzer shade from this palette and just bronze up around my face. Because we worked with a lot of like green and blue shades, it's really important to make sure that your skin still looks bronzy and glowy, just because then you don't look like death pretty much. For my cheeks, I'm going to use the Bare Minerals pigment in Giddy Pink. And then I'm also going to use the Bare Minerals pigment in Pure Radiance and put that on top of there. For my lips, I used a mixture of Sex Bomb and Checkin' In from the Chi Chi lipsticks. I really love nude lips with dark eyes because I think it just enhances the eyes a lot more and keeps the focus on the eyes rather than kind of being distracted by two different bold areas. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you did, please like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.